Hi, I'm Lee Sloan, and I'm really excited about a program that I'm starting on YouTube, and it's going to be on Facebook as well, called Brave Conversations. We've already done our first of the Brave Conversations. We did it about the pornography industry, but I wanted to really share with you about my heart and why I think we need to start having these kinds of brave conversations. You know, I have been a church girl my whole life. I have grown up in the church, and I then became a minister, a children's minister, and then I became a pastor and church planter. I've experienced the church almost on every level, and I love the church. The church is close to my heart. I've been looking around at the world, and I've been noticing an absence of the voice of people in the church. And it's really been convicting me because of all the sermons I've preached and all the ways I've been invested in the church. I feel like I've almost done it to the expense of the world around me. And I know that I've done good things. I know that it's been helpful for people, but I feel like God is really shifting me, and where He's causing me to put my effort and my energy is in the conversations that the world is already having. So many times I think we as believers get scared to engage in these conversations because these conversations are volatile a lot of times. We don't want to be viewed as people who name call or, all those unchristian things that we see happening in the world. We don't want to sink to that level. We don't want to get in the fray. And I'm not just talking politically, although that includes it, but I'm talking about those real conversations that we need to have, racism, sexism, all the isms you can imagine, the rape, abortion, pornography. I mean, these are issues that we like to kind of shy away from in the church for good reasons. I mean, being a church planner, we wanted to focus on Jesus and on the love He has for us, and if we got that mixed in with some kind of social message, then it might, in our minds, muddy the gospel, and maybe people wouldn't be able to come to know Jesus. And so I get that whole dilemma that we have, but it's time, I think, that the Lord is beginning to stir a lot of us, me included. I'm not going to be God for you, but He is stirring me to start having conversations about things that people in the world care about, the questions that people are asking. And I think so many times when we see people on social media, or when we see someone in the news, or we hear about something someone has said, we kind of look at them like whatever they said in two dimensions. And people are not two-dimensional, okay? But we look at a comment someone has made, and we label that comment, whether it's, conservative, liberal, racist, homophobic, whatever that is, and then we say, that person equals X, Y, and Z. That person is this. And we end up putting a label on it, putting him in a box, tying up the box with a bow and a ribbon. And, sometimes it's a box of poop, sometimes it's one that we like, but we end up labeling people and caricaturizing people to where they're no longer people anymore. You see what I'm saying? I think that there's a real danger in our society of not having real conversations with real people, okay? If I was going to sit down and have coffee with someone, I wouldn't think of them in terms of merely their demographics, their race, their age. I would want to get to know that person based on their own unique story, right? And when I get to know that person, then suddenly I can find things that maybe I have in common, maybe I don't, maybe things that are intriguing about that person. And hopefully I'm open-minded enough that no matter how different they are from me, I can learn from that person. And hopefully when I engage in conversation with that person, I'm going to be a little bit changed, and they're going to be changed as well in that exchange. And so I think if we're ever going to see unity in our country, we're going to have real conversations, which means heart to heart, not just two-dimensional talking head character to other two-dimensional head talking character with all the labels and all of the loaded words that you could possibly use that tick other people off and make other people happy. It's time that we change this conversation to where we're trying to really understand one another and not polarize one another. I'm really concerned about the unity that we have in our nation. I'm really concerned about what we think of ourselves as fellow Americans. And even the global conversation that we're having around the world as fellow human beings. Whatever happened to human being interaction? And we're going to have to navigate this new world of technology. We're going to have to navigate social media. It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. But we have to come out from behind ourselves and actually be a little bit brave, actually be a little bit vulnerable, show people that we are people, not just our labels. You know, I have spoken opinions and said things that maybe I might not agree with myself even in 10 years, or maybe I don't agree with myself even today from some of the things that I maybe even preached before. You know what? That doesn't make me a bad person. That just makes me a person. That makes me a human being. And so when we come at people with the supposition that this is who they are and they're never going to be anything different, we close off of our minds and we close off our hearts to what that interaction can be between the two of us. And it stops being a conversation and it starts becoming a monologue. Now I realize I am sitting here telling you a monologue of my heart, but I'm not doing it just so you could hear me rant. I'm doing it to start a conversation. I'm doing it to see, do you sometimes feel like you have to hide? Do you sometimes wonder, can I talk about things that matter? Or will it just tick people off? Will it just create less unity in our culture? I really believe that the loudest people in our society have had the mic for too long. I want to see the people that believe in love. I want to see those people rise up, and I want to give voice to those people. And I want to hear what they have to say. And I want to start seeing some of those people that believe in virtue and, you know, a lot of the principles that we know of in the Bible. There are all kinds of people, not just Christians, that believe in those principles. I want to see them actually begin to engage in conversation on social media, in their homes, in their schools, in their communities. I want to see them rise up because here's the deal. There's someone who's stolen your voice. If you haven't spoken up about things that matter, there's someone else who's speaking up for you. And I don't know where that is for you. I don't know in what context you're supposed to be speaking. It might not be on social media like I'm doing right now. It might just be in your home. But there is a place of influence and authority that you have, that you can actually use your voice. You can actually find your voice. And there might be something key that you need to contribute to the conversation. It's not really about being right or wrong. It's about having the conversation and having the guts to really get real. It's about discovering who we are deep within and looking inward and just getting messy in there. But it's also about getting messy out here with other people and finding out what is their perspective, where are they coming from? Somebody that doesn't think the same way that I think, believe the same way that I believe. And yes, it will challenge you. Yes, you may think differently on the other side, but isn't that what life is all about? Isn't it all about discovery? So I encourage you to jump into the conversation. I'm going to start a little group on Facebook where we can have a conversation. I'm committed to having this conversation without name calling, without being ugly, without being disrespectful. I think we can do it. And I think we can maintain a level of freedom and liberty with dignity, or we can treat people with dignity. If you're a believer, if you're practicing Jew or a Christian, you believe that in human dignity and the fact that we need to treat all people with dignity, right? Whether we agree or disagree. That's the principle that I want to start with. I want to see how many people in America are committed to that. If we can just commit to that, we can begin to heal our country. We can begin to solve these problems and come together as a nation. If you're with me, go ahead and like my page, share it, start having your own conversations however you see fit. Join my Brave Conversations group that I'm going to start on Facebook here. It's Lee Sloan. And so you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. I am looking forward to some more conversations. Talk to you later.